I was just up here thinking about a couple things. In the world right now, at least in the United States, there's a conversation around there's a lot of conversation, but this one is particular. I'm talking about women's rights, right? And it appears that men, and I am generalizing, would prefer to have things the way that they used to be, where women stayed at home and took care of the house and had the children and took care of those children, and men went to work and financially took care of the women and their children and their homes and all of these things, right? It gives them that power. And the problem with that is it's more to a relationship than just financially providing. I can see why they would want that because you get so much more benefit out of the relationship than what you put in. You're providing finances, and that's big. It's not nothing. But many times it seems like these men want to be cared for, like emotionally. And who's going to carry that? It's the woman. It's the woman's job. They're not willing to do the same. They're not willing to be equal partners. They're not willing to support their wives in the same way. I got me thinking about James, my beloved, beloved, beloved late husband. And he really is beloved, guys. I know we went through it, but he's still beloved. I don't regret anything about that relationship. But it made me think of a time, I spent the beginning. I was just talking about this because I was like, last night we went to see Hairspray here in Sacramento. It's a dress rehearsal. And I was talking to someone about my own career as an actress, and I gave that all up willingly. Um, I finally got cast in Little Shop of Horrors as a doo-wop girl. And soon after that, like a week or days or something after that, I found out I was pregnant. The show was going to go up in February. My son was born in March. So like I wasn't going to do the play. Like I wasn't, you know. Uh yeah. And so I gave up all of that and I married this man, this beautiful beautiful man, my beloved. And he was really passionate about surfing. Loved to surf. I mean, knew everything about waves, the science behind them, the moon. It was fascinating. And it's always a joy for me to talk with people about their passions because I love how their eyes light up and they come alive, right? So he loved surfing. And there was a period of time in our relationship where he couldn't surf because he lived here in Sacramento and there's nowhere to surf here. And it drove him fucking crazy. And he would say to me, "You just don't understand, honey. You don't understand what it's like to have this desire inside of you and not be able to do it." I mean, come on. I mean, come on. Like, I don't understand. Like, did you not meet me? I was going through that same thing. I felt like I was dying inside because I had no way to express myself through performing arts. I mean, I was singing to the kids, but that's about it. I would try to do crafts with them, but honestly, they weren't really that interested. And it just pales in comparison to being able to do the thing. And we moved to Scotts Valley so that he could have that. And he would go surfing, and I would stay home with the kids. He'd work all week, and I would stay home with the kids, and I would take care of the house, and I would do all those things, right? And I remember one time driving by the tannery where my daughter was going to school. She was taking dance classes, and they had a sign up, They were rebuilding the theater and they were looking for volunteers. And I thought, oh, this could be my opportunity to get back in, to like get into the scene and get around other creative people and but I went to my husband and I told him about it. And I said, but I don't know how I'm gonna do this, you know, when there's the children. And that man legit was like, I don't know, honey, maybe you could bring them with you. Like, that's what I'm talking about. I feel like a supportive man would have said something more along the lines of, oh, how about you see about days when I'm off work and I could stay home with the kids while you go do that thing? I know how important this is to you. And what does this have to do with self love, which is my message, right? Because I let that go. I dropped it. That was the end of it. He wasn't willing to volunteer, which is what I wanted. And so I just stayed copacetic and kept things the way they were. And some might think that the lesson there is that I should have held back in my support of him and not done it as much and not, it's just that's how I show my love. That's how I support and love you. If I were to take that step of withholding these acts of service, what I'm doing is I'm shrinking myself and I'm hiding myself away. And I'm doing it to try and control the other person, to make them do what I want. In fact, what I was exhibiting was a lack of standards, a lack of boundaries. See, they say love is unconditional, and I do believe that, but I don't think that you can be in relationship without conditions, without standards, without knowing what it is that you need in order to mm, feel nourished and loved or feel loved. And I think you learn what you need in order to feel loved by coming across things that don't make you feel loved. And then you recognize that doesn't feel good. And it doesn't mean that you stop doing the things that you're doing. If they really are a part of who you are, it means that you say, hey, I understand that this is not who you are. And that's fine. I'm looking for someone who can do that. If you can't do that for me, the way that I show up for you, perfectly fine. You and I can't have the same relationship anymore. Goodbyes are hard, but sometimes they're necessary. And the lessons that you learn in relationship, you can carry with you to the next one. So I don't regret that relationship. I learned so much. I'm never going to be the type of person that's like, well, I'm just not going to, like, I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do, my next beloved, he's going to give as good as he receives. He's going to fill me up with his love until I shine like the sun himself. And I will do the same for him. And that is because I love myself enough to be able to recognize what I need and to make sure that my needs are also met. That it's not just about, well, I don't want to be I don't wanna be a nag, and I don't wanna be a bad wife or a bad girlfriend. I don't wanna be God, what did he used to say? High maintenance. Ooh, he used to use that all the time. Don't be high maintenance. Don't be high maintenance. If this is high maintenance, honey, you can't afford me. As always, love yourself.